The movie opens with a scene showing a delicious meal being carefully made. Meanwhile, a voice in the background says there are three kinds of people: those at the top, those at the bottom, and those who fall in between. The scene shifts to a young man named Goreng, who wakes up in a concrete prison cell. He meets an older man named Trimagasi, who tells him they are on level 48 in a place called the Pit. Each level of this prison has 2 inmates, and every month they get knocked out and switch to a different level. Trimagasi explains that food is super important in this prison. When Goreng asks how the Pit works, Trimagasi just replies, "They eat." He explains that it can be easy or hard to get food based on your level, but level 48 isn't too terrible. Goreng then inquires about how many levels are below them, and Trimagasi replies that there aren't many, but soon there will be even fewer. Goreng tries calling to the people below, but Trimagasi warns him not to, saying the ones above won't respond either. Suddenly, an alarm blares, and a large table filled with partially eaten food lowers into their cell through a hole in the center. This is called the platform. Trimagasi eagerly starts stuffing his face with the food, while Goreng watches in disgust. It's clear that the food has come down from the 47 levels above them before landing in their cell. Goreng spots an untouched apple on the table and quickly puts it in his pocket to save for later. As the platform descends, Trimagasi spits on the food and drinks the leftover wine, ignoring Goreng's protests. After the table lowers to the next level, Goreng notices that the room is getting hotter. Trimagasi explains that the temperature will keep rising until they boil alive, unless Goreng returns the apple he took. He warns that the punishment for trying to keep any food can be death by burning or freezing. Reluctantly, Goreng throws the apple back and the temperature finally returns to normal. This makes Goreng reflect on the interview he had before entering the pit, where he signed a paper agreeing that he couldn't leave until his time was up. Each prisoner can bring one item, and Goreng chose a copy of Don Quixote. He came here voluntarily, planning to spend 6 months in exchange for a diploma. The next day, when the platform comes with food, Goreng refuses to eat again, and Trimagasi thinks he's wasting level 48. Curious, Goreng asks Trimagasi about his story. Trimagasi explains that it all began with a TV ad. He bought a special knife he saw on TV, but shortly after, they released an ad for an even better one. Furious, he threw his TV out the window, accidentally killing a passerby. He was given the choice between a psychiatric hospital and the pit, so here he is now. Trimagasi admits he doesn't know exactly how many levels there are, but claims he's been as low as level 132, where no food ever reaches. Goreng doubts that Trimagasi could survive for a month without food, but Trimagasi insists he managed to eat even when the platform was empty. Goreng wants to convince the people above to ration the food, but Trimagasi says it's pointless. When Goreng tries to send a message to those below, Trimagasi unzips his pants and urinates on them, leaving Goreng disgusted. Goreng then shows Trimagasi his copy of Don Quixote and asks what personal item Trimagasi chose. Trimagasi reveals that he brought a Samurai Plus knife. The next day, a body falls through the hole, horrifying Goreng while Trimagasi remains completely unfazed. Goreng yells out to the other cells, asking why no one is reacting to the body, but he gets no response. It's then that Goreng realizes Trimagasi must have cannibalized his former cellmate. Just then, the platform arrives with a bruised, bloodied Asian woman named Miharu. While Goreng worries about her, Trimagasi tells him not to fret, explaining that Miharu comes down into the pit every month searching for her son. Trimagasi reveals that Miharu kills her cellmate each month to increase her chances of being paired with her son in the next cell rotation, and that the body that fell earlier was likely her previous cellmate, pushed by her. When the platform descends, Miharu is attacked by the prisoners on level 49. Goreng screams for them to stop, but they ignore him. Trimagasi tells Goreng not to interfere, saying they'll only keep her for a few days. Miharu defends herself by killing 2 men and then returns to the platform, looking up at Trimagasi and Goreng with an emotionless gaze before continuing her descent. After she leaves, Goreng begins reading Don Quixote to Trimagasi, starting at chapter 1. Over the following month, the 2 men grow closer as friends. On their final night at level 48, Trimagasi admits that he has come to like Goreng, though he doubts Goreng has what it takes to survive his stay. Trimagasi mentions that he only has 2 more months left before his time is up. The following day, Goreng wakes up to find himself tied to the bed, with Trimagasi looming over him holding a knife. They have been moved to level 171, and the sounds of people screaming fill the air as some of them choose to jump down the hole in despair. Trimagasi tells Goreng that he had to tie him up because, if he hadn't, Goreng would have ended up killing him out of hunger since Goreng is younger and stronger. Trimagasi has a plan to starve himself for a while, and then start to cut pieces off Goreng so they can survive by eating him. When Goreng accuses Trimagasi of being a murderer, Trimagasi argues that the real culprits are the people above them. As the platform comes down, they find that there is nothing left on the table, not even bones for them to eat. After some time, Trimagasi starts carving into Goreng's leg. Just before he can finish his gruesome act, the platform arrives with Miharu on it. She injures Trimagasi and frees Goreng. Once he's free, Goreng kills Trimagasi. He and Miharu then eat Trimagasi before she descends further on the platform. As time goes on, Goreng begins to have strange hallucinations where he talks to Trimagasi, who feels like he is now a part of Goreng, and he imagines being intimate with Miharu. Goreng struggles to survive until the end of the month. The next day, Goreng wakes up to find a new cellmate named Imagiri, who has a dog with her. They discover they are on level 33. Imagiri reveals that she used to work for the administration that runs the pit and the outside world, before choosing to come inside. She explains that there are 200 levels, and if everyone only ate what they needed, there would be enough food to reach the bottom. The chefs even prepare each inmate's favorite foods. Imagiri expresses that the administration hopes the people in the pit will unite for the common good. If the inmates can learn to sacrifice for each other, the administration plans to use that success to encourage the people outside to do the same. As the platform descends, Imagiri pleads with the inmates below to only take what they need, but they ignore her. In the following weeks, Imagiri keeps pleading with the inmates on the level below to only take what they need to eat. They finally listen when Goreng threatens to defecate in the food. One day, Miharu is discovered gravely ill on a table. The duo works to help her, but when Miharu finally wakes up, she ends up killing Imagiri's dog. As Miharu goes deeper into the situation and takes down another inmate who tries to attack her, Imagiri claims that Miharu's story is not true. She explains that Miharu chose to enter the pit without a child, hoping to get assistance in becoming the Asian Marilyn Monroe. To show that she can be trusted, Imagiri shares that she has cancer and joined the pit to help others. However, she soon falls into a deep sadness over the death of her dog. After the day of reassignment, Goreng finds himself on level 202. When he wakes up, he discovers that Imagiri has taken her own life, probably because she realized the administration had deceived her about how deep the pit really goes. He notices there are even more levels below him, which adds to his despair. In a moment of desperation, Goreng even tries to eat his book. Eventually, he gives in to cannibalism once more and consumes Imagiri's body. Now he starts to have hallucinations where he talks to Imagiri and Trimagasi, who seem to be part of him, and they tell him that he is the chosen one. The next month, Goreng wakes up on level 6 with a new cellmate named Baharat, who has a rope with him. Baharat is hopeful that he can escape the pit by climbing to the top, so he asks the prisoners above to help him up. Instead of helping, they mock him and defecate on him. Goreng, who has calculated that there are around 250 levels after his time on level 202, suggests a different plan. He proposes that they descend on the platform, distributing food to each level as they go. He theorizes that if they can make the food reach the bottom, they will have outsmarted the system. If the plan fails, they can ride the platform back up. Baharat, a man of faith, agrees to the plan, and they arm themselves for the journey ahead. As the two friends start to go down, they push the other prisoners away. They arrive at a level where a wise man, whom Baharat knows, is located. The wise man tells them that they need to ensure that at least one tasty dish is sent back up the platform without being eaten. This uneaten dish will act as a signal to the administration that they have taken control of the pit. They decide on a panna cotta, which is almost a perfect dessert, to send back completely untouched. The duo manages to make the other inmates save their food as they continue their descent. When they reach another floor, they find Miharu being attacked by two particularly cruel prisoners. Goreng and Baharat jump in to fight and manage to kill the attackers, but they get seriously hurt in the process. Sadly, Miharu succumbs to her injuries from the stabbing. As Goreng and Baharat continue their descent, they mostly encounter dead or insane prisoners on the lower levels. Eventually, the platform stops at level 333, which they believe to be the final level. To their shock, they discover Miharu's child on this floor, contrary to what they were told about no children being in the pit. The pair gets off the platform, but to their surprise, it descends even further. They decide to give the panna cotta to the child and rest for the night. When Goreng wakes up the next day, he finds that Baharat has succumbed to his injuries and died. The next day, the platform reaches their level with no food left. Goreng gently pulls the child onto the platform and cradles her to sleep. The platform descends all the way to the very bottom, where the light from above is barely visible. There Goreng encounters the spirit of Trimagasi again, who tells him that his journey has come to an end. Trimagasi explains that the child, not the panna cotta, is the true message that must be sent back to the administration. Though Goreng wants to stay with the child, Trimagasi convinces him that the child must rise alone. Reluctantly, Goreng steps off the platform, watching as it begins its ascent to the top. Trimagasi reassures him that the child will succeed in delivering the message. As the platform raises, Goreng smiles, knowing the message is on its way. In this way, movie ends here. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more interesting movie recaps.